Dingus and Dongus.
Debacle.
Well,
EP-06.
this is the double kitty edition of the Dingus and Dongus debacle.
Yeah, welcome to the kitty edition of Dingus and Dongus Debacle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really bad at remembering what number we're on. 7?
No.
8?
I think we're on 6.
6? And yes, 6, because I remember saying, hey, we've been doing this for 6 months. This is ridiculous.
It's half a year.
Well, we've been in quarantine for,
April?
yeah,
So-
March, April, yeah. So most of the podcast we've
Yeah.
been in quarantine.
Yeah,
Nice. Anyway.
perfect.
We went with I Killed Giants, written by Joe Kelly and art by J.M. Ken Nimura.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's him.
That's out on
Her.
Image Comics.
Yep.
Came out in 08-09. And it was a very heavy comic.
Yeah. It deals with pretty tough subject of, parents dying.
Yeah. And like dying too soon,
Yeah.
I feel. Like, I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if the kid's still in like high school,
Right.
it's a little too soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I'm a-
always too soon, I
Yeah.
would imagine, but
Yeah.
especially in that
But like
case.
before the kid had a chance to get a job, like even a shitty one,
Right.
that's definitely too soon. So yeah, so the whole thing with the book is this little girl in high school. I'm assuming it's high school. I mean, it could very well be middle school, but I think it's high school.
Yeah.
Basically, her mom's dying with cancer. Got a deadbeat dad that just isn't around.
Yep.
And being raised by an older sister, and she's also got another brother, and it's her coming to terms with her mom dying of cancer.
Yeah. This was like, the story was a little bit more heavy than the movie. I didn't know this was a comic book.
Yeah.
I was just at the missus scrolling through movies on like Hulu, I think it was. It was like, oh, cool, I Killed Giants. That sounds really neat, because fucking giants rule. And then I watched it, and I have plenty of whatever to say about the movie. But overall, it was a good little movie. Wholesome, even, I would say.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be what it was.
Yeah.
But it made me then think, oh, which comic books have giants in it? Because now I want to read about giants. And this kept coming up
Yeah.
over and over and over. And then some Thor things. So I figured, why not read this sad story based on, or that I watched this sad movie about.
Right. I've seen. I know it was on Netflix for a while, and I keep seeing it pop up on my feed. And it's one of those things that I've been meaning to watch, but just didn't get around to.
Yeah.
After having read the comic, I might go back and I don't know, rent it from Amazon or something. I've got kind of mixed feelings about the story overall. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's well told, but the whole giant aspect, like the imagining giants or whatever, and how it kind of something just wasn't clicking with me.
It was kind of a disconnect
Yeah.
from like her working through these processes.
Right.
I felt the same way reading it.
It's like, oh, and then a magical solution happened, and she's now okay with
Right.
her mom dying.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not really how it works. She didn't really struggle with anything. It's just a fake giant fight happened, and she's now okay.
Well, I mean, and it was like a typhoon or something.
Yeah.
or
It was a tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was expecting more, I don't know, like giants to
Yeah.
actually fight.
Right.
But she never really did. She prepared
Right.
and talked about them, but never really did till the end.
Right, and I think a lot of, I mean, it's supposed to be setting up as a metaphor for dealing with death, but it kind of fails in that respect because, because there isn't just this one thing that happens and then you're suddenly okay with death. That's
Right.
not how it works.
Right.
I mean, I get the point that he's trying to make. The like, yes, it's something that happens to everybody, but the process just wasn't very convincing.
Well, it's almost like she relied on the giants to get through it.
Yeah.
But and it kind of reaffirms that towards the end when she's looking out the window and the Titans in the ocean's
Right.
like, I don't need you, or something like that. So it's loose. It's a little disconnected.
Yeah. But, I appreciate the effort
Yep.
to try and tackle something so heavy. And I feel like it's actually, like, the way it's written, it might be good, like, a good way to, like, introduce younger kids to the concept of, like,
I was
people
thinking
dying.
the same thing, too. Like, I don't know. I'm not a parent. I wouldn't know when the hell to give it to a kid to read it. But if they're the same age as this kid,
Yeah.
and, like, a pet dies,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. I don't know. That's kind of a torture, too. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, it's heavy.
It's I don't know, but because I have a kid,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
You have
but-
cornbread. When
Yeah.
would you let cornbread read it?
When she learns how to read.
Oh, okay.
Won't have to worry about that ever.
And it was fun because the main character, she's just an outcast nerd.
Yeah.
Little.
He plays D&D.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I identify with that. I was once a little outcast nerd girl. But what I especially liked is how they did the art with the stuff she was kind of imagining.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, it was like white or sometimes dotted.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be fully fledged out.
Right. But a lot of times it looks like it's definitely superimposed on reality.
Right. And also the little fairy guys had wieners, and it was amazing. I don't know. Just the little fairy guys with their little fairy wieners. It's like, why? Okay, this is great.
So one thing that kind of got me when I first started reading was, okay, so I'm not, like, super familiar with anime and stuff,
Mhm.
but, like, I have this impression that in anime there's this thing where, like, there's just some people with cat ears.
Yeah.
And they don't really explain, like, why they have cat ears. It's just
They have cat
there's
ears.
normal people and there's people with cat ears.
Yep.
And that's just a thing.
Yep.
And that's what I thought was happening here with the bunny ears.
Oh.
I was like, oh, so this is like one of those anime things, right? Like, this is just like a little bunny kid.
Yeah, no.
No.
It was more akin to Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Like-
And it turns out, like, the bunny ears was, like, I guess, like, a little hat thing that she wears. But, it's like, yeah. My first impression was like, oh, okay, so there's bunny people in this book. Okay.
Whatever.
I'll
It's
go
just
with
how it is.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it was, I usually am not a huge fan of black and white art.
Yeah.
I oftentimes have a hard time understanding what's going on.
Yep.
This one wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad, but there's still moments where, like, I wasn't quite sure what I'm looking at.
Right. Yeah.
Like, the one scene that sticks in my head was she was, like, on the sidewalk scooping up a dead bird.
Yes.
And then it's like,
What the hell?
What is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, because a couple panels later, it shows the bird in better detail, and then the counselor lady was asking her, what she's doing. But yeah, like that initial picture of, like, a stick and a dead bird and, like, splatter, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like I have no idea what I'm looking at right here.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Like, that absolutely popped out too for me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. And then it almost looked like when the counselor was a couple panels later with the counselor, like there was more dead things in there besides just the bird. I mean, it's minor. We know it's a dead something through dialogue, but
yeah, it was weird.
Yep.
And another thing is on the art. So when the Titan finally appeared and they're fighting, right?
uh-huh.
I could have sworn, like, the giant had mouths for nipples. That's what it looked like.
I have to
me.
go back and look. I
mean, it might be, like, quote unquote fur,
Yeah,
but it looked like mouths.
little mouth.
Exactly where the nipples are.
Does that mean like you feed it milk?
Yes. Yes.
The Titan milk.
That's how they get so big and strong.
Yes. Gross.
Oh, you just imagine like fucking Titan? A Titan mom gives birth, goes to nurse the baby, but then like just bites the head off.
Or even more disturbing, like you go to nurse the little Titan baby, and like the nipple mouth just starts kissing the baby's mouth to give milk.
It's like a baby bird.
Exactly.
Oh, his open mouth kiss and everything.
Yes.
Ew.
And it turns out when it's open, like the tongue is actually the nipple.
And it just squirts.
Yeah. Like a clown flower.
Oh,
Gross.
literally sucking tongues with your baby. Okay,
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I liked the premise of the story. It's not something I generally read.
right.
And I rarely read anything that has an emotional heaviness to it.
Yeah.
Usually I don't, because that's not why I'm trying to read comic books.
Right.
Like, you know? But it was good. And I would be curious to see, like, what my nieces would think about it.
No? Yeah?
I don't know if they'll read it. And one's technically an adult now, which is fucking weird.
Really?
Yeah. She's 18.
Wow, what a time to turn 18.
Right? Shitty. Graduate and turn 18 in a hellscape.
Right? But that means she can vote now.
Yeah.
So she might be able to do something.
Yep. Maybe.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yep.
Okay. Album.
Yes.
Hell Spirit Noir. Eden in Reverse. I loved it.
It was goofy.
It starts out with bleep bloops
Yep.
and more bleep bloops throughout the album, and the cats are doing their thing.
They're bleep blooping each other.
Yep. But yeah, I fucking loved it. It's fucking weird and all sorts of whooshing and whoop and wee sounds all over. Not really metal at all. Very psychedelic.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
So for the first half of the album, it kind of makes me zone out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but like literally halfway through, it's like, oh, here are some riffs.
Yeah.
And then I get really engaged. I think the song's called Crossroads.
Yep.
Like I get engaged then, and then I
Yeah.
kind of like filter out a little bit because it all just there's a lot of stuff going on, and all of the a lot of stuff going on to me creates this cloud of noise that
Right.
I kind of get
There's a lot.
kind of mesmerized with.
There's a lot of layers.
Yeah,
To the music.
but I'm with you. The beat boops were phenomenal, and
Yep.
if there's one thing to take away from this that I liked a lot, it was that.
Yeah.
Especially on the track that had the word alien in it, because it sounded like a UFO.
Right?
And it's like very spacey.
Like, the album reminds me, like, as a comparison, like, I don't know if they're aware of Arcadia, but it's like a more, like, a less frenetic sounding Arcadia.
Yeah.
And I actually have listened to all their prior albums, and I enjoy every single one of them. It's all very psychedelic, and
Do they have keys in their other albums also? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
yep, it's always been a prominent part of their sound. It sounds like an album you want to trip to.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And well, it kind of does it by itself too.
Yeah.
Like, I obviously wasn't tripping, but listening to it took me
puts you in
somewhere
that
else.
Mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mind space where it's just like you feel like you're just kind of floating.
Right.
You have any standout tracks?
Oh, Crossroads again, because that's where it like snaps me back in.
Mhm.
And then I like the last one, Automata,
Oh, 1980.
Whatever.
Yeah.
because it felt like a dystopian movie.
Right.
So
Yeah, Crossroads has that really cool riff that, gets the song going. And that particular track actually has a guest vocalist. I think his name is Lars Nedlund. He's the keyboard player for Borknagar.
okay.
Yeah, he does guest vocals on that, and I've always really enjoyed his vocals particularly, and I think it worked really well with that song, and really like the music these guys do, anyways.
Yeah.
Um,
I imagined like if I could just lift the keys, like the key layer off of the rest of the music,
yeah,
it could be a soundtrack for maybe Stranger Things or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yes, it's got that kind of '80s feel.
yep. I mean, there's more. It's not boring like me me.
Right.
It's actually like twinkle fingers
Yeah,
going
it's
on.
engaging.
Yes. So this was released this year on Agonia Records. I don't know anything about that record label.
Yeah,
Do they put out their other stuff? Do you know, or
I can check real quick.
nah?
Okay,
We'll look later.
I'll say yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And they're also the record label is out of Greece. I'm gonna say whether that's true or not.
Yes.
The
I
band
know
out of Greece.
I know the band is Greek, but yeah,
I don't know anything about the label.
neither do I.
I'd never even heard of this band before, and I
Yeah.
guess
I-
the dark path suggested it to you or whatever. that bald bath. Is that true?
No,
Oh.
I turned them on to this band.
No, but for this album.
Oh, for this particular album, yes.
Okay.
He told me that they put out a new album. I was like, oh,
Gotcha.
really? Okay. And I listened to the first 10 seconds of the track and decided, yeah, we're going to do this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was an experience.
It is.
It really is. Like, oh, okay.
And now I really, really would like to do some shrooms and listen to it. But I'm not going to, because I'm a responsible human being.
Yep.
We got anything else?
I don't think so.
Cool.
Dingus and Dongus.
Debacle.
This whiskey is delicious.
Yeah, right?
It's
really good.
That's impressive.